The boys are back. That's right, Florida Man Sports is here with another exciting episode. So just sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. This is Florida Man Sports.
Ladies and gents, Florida Man Football back in the studio. We're back. Let's go.
No alcohol, no beer.
Listen, we had to invest, went into our beer fund to get the studio back on track. But we're back.
Yes,
Johnny
sir.
Cinco, last week you were MIA. Sorry, we missed you here at Florida Man Football. We had to do a quick, fast episode, so I apologize, folks. You deserve better from us, and you're going to get it now. Let's go, Johnny Cinco. Let's start, like always, here at Florida Man Football with last week, the week that was, and let's start with the low fruit, which is the Miami Dolphins. The low fruit in the sense they won 17-21 against the Saints, a close game, one at home, a game that we expected to win. Any thoughts on the Dolphins winning streak?
No, it's the winning streak I called 3 weeks ago saying, listen, this team is not looking great, but look at the schedule. They can go on a run here, and so far they haven't let us down. So we'll see. Chris, it's either going to be, it has to be one of two things, an epic run that somehow leads in a miracle into the playoffs and a deep playoff run.
Right.
That's the only thing that saves McDaniel's job. That's the only thing that's going to save him. I don't think it's going to happen, but it's something to where they're giving themselves a chance. They're winning the games that we expect them to win.
Right.
And I think when it's all said and done, they're going to lose the games that we expect them to lose.
At 5-7 now with this win streak, and you're still only at 5-7. I don't expect the Dolphins to make the playoffs. I'm going to stand by that. I've said that in previous episodes, Johnny. So I guess let me ask you this question then. They are at 5-7. How many wins do the Dolphins have to have for McDaniels to keep his job? That's a fair question then.
It's not about the wins at this point. It doesn't really matter. I think the Patriots, obviously, is a 16 games a season. They won 11 games and missed the playoffs. That's the last time, I guess, Miami was in the playoffs when the Miami Dolphins won that division many, many years ago. That
Okay.
was the year Brady went down with injury and Matt Castle was the backup. So it doesn't matter. That's not going to save your job. The only thing that's going to save your job, they've made the playoffs, Chris, before, and they're bounced in the first round right away. They need to make a deep playoff run, which is very unlikely because, as we both know, Chris, the Miami Dolphins cannot play in the cold. So that's going to require them to do something they've never done before. I don't think they can do it. So please, Miami, prove us wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking about proving us wrong, Johnny Cinco, we had to do that fast episode last week. Again, apologies. Even with the fast episode, I still gave you 9 dubs. It wasn't the 10 that I was hoping for, but you got 9. Let's talk about the Jacksonville Jaguars, one that I called wrong last week, where the Jaguars go out. They win 25-3, Johnny Cinco. Titans are 1-11. Divisional game, you would have thought it would have been a little bit closer because they're always tough games. But what are your thoughts on the Jaguars now sitting at 8-4?
I mean, the Jaguars, they beat arguably the worst team in the NFL. So I understand why you made that pick. So they beat the Titans or whatever. But you got to give them props, Chris. They're 8-4. You know, they're tied with the Colts in the division there. So I'm not going to sit here and dog them too much. What I've learned more than anything, they got the 8 wins you said, Chris. They got the 8 wins that you had said.
Yeah.
But you're telling me they're done?
Well, no, I said 8-9 wins, so I still got one more just
Okay.
in case. But yes, I think so. The schedule only gets tougher. They do play the Titans again, and I expect somewhat of a better matchup, folks, because at the end of the day, divisional games are always like that. So in other words, I expect the Titans to come back a little bit stronger. And as far as Campbell goes, I know they're not part of our Florida teams here, but I will address this because you made a very good point here. Look, with Campbell, Johnny, it's the first year without both offensive and defensive coach. Give the guy another year, right? I don't think it takes time to adjust. It takes time for your plan to really show fruit. And sometimes you get it wrong. Maybe he's got the right person on defense, but not the right person on offense. We saw he took over offensive duties just a few weeks ago. So as much as I've been very critical on the lines, just give him a little bit of time. It's okay. It happens when you have the adjustments that they had to make. Look, let's talk about the Tampa Bay Bucks now, Johnny Cinco, before we go into next week's schedule here. The Bucks, they win. That's another thing that we did get right here at Florida Man Football last week. They win a very close game against a very bad Cardinals team. Any thoughts on that game?
I mean, the game ended exactly how you said it would. You had called the Bucks winning and that it was going to be close.
Right.
Listen, it's fine. End of the day, you're winning the games, but I would have liked to see Tampa dominate. But, dude, we're not going to see Tampa dominate unless they're, fully healthy. They have all
Yeah.
the players, which I don't think we're ever going to see this season. I'm hoping at some point we figure it out, but I don't see Tampa Bay being 100% healthy. And you guys are going to need to be 100% healthy to reach the NFC Championship, like I predicted before the season. So listen, there's obviously a lot of dogs in this team, so things can happen on the positive notes.
Absolutely.
But I got to see a run right now, Chris. What 7-5 right now? This team is so much better than 7-5, and it's unfortunate, but you are what your record says you are. So right now they're first place in their division, 7-5, but they're creeping. Other teams are creeping, so we want to see Tampa Bay go ahead, not only win a division, but make a run the playoffs. So hopefully it continues.
Yeah, talking about the divisional games with the Jaguars and the Titans, now you've got the Bucks who played the Panthers twice. Panthers are right on their tail. And listen, folks, I see that as a positive. I see that as the Bucks looking at them going, hey, this is the time of the schedule this year that we got to get this thing going. So I'm actually kind of happy to see a little competition in the NFC South. I think it's going to help the Bucks. Another takeaway that I have, Johnny, because you're absolutely right about the health part. I'm hearing rumors now, and I'm sure you guys are hearing it too on social media, that Mike Evans will come back this year, which is so exciting to think about after the accident that he had, the collarbone and the concussion. You hear that McMillan is off the brace, that he may be back as well. So, and on defense, we're getting a bunch of people back as well. So we're not going to be 100% healthy. You're 100% right about that. We'll never be 100% healthy. But just to hear that these guys could be coming back in the next couple of weeks, it's freaking exciting, man. The schedule's favorable. Let's go Bucks. It started with this little baby victory, but maybe the next game now we can win by double digits. You'll let us know here in the next picks coming up.
Well, the winning streak starts with one win, so we're gonna go ahead and see if we can go ahead and put this together and start a streak of our own, kind of like what Miami's doing. But it's on you, Tampa, to go ahead and make these things happen. I get it. These injuries are really detrimental to any team, but Tampa, man, my God, every year it's always something with
Yes.
their injuries is driving us crazy. But crazier things have happened. Teams have won on a run.
Right.
The Bucks won their Super Bowl with what 9-10 wins that year. So going into the playoffs. So it's not about so
Going
much.
into the wild card, yeah,
Yeah,
winning on the road.
so it's not about necessarily having the most wins. It's who's the hottest team towards going into the playoffs. Hopefully,
Right.
it starts right now with Tampa Bay.
Let's go. Florida Man Football streaming on all major platforms. Again, the boys are back in the studio. Week 14 picks are here. Obviously, Johnny Cinco, we like to give double digits. Last week was 9. I think the week before that it was 9 as well. And that's because we weren't here in the studio. Now we're back streaming on all major platforms. And we kick it off, Johnny Cinco, with the Cowboys and the Lions. Thursday Night Football. You're talking about two teams. You just talked about the Lions, are a little critical on, but you've got the Cowboys who are winning some meaningful football games at 6-5. The Lions are the home team. Who's winning this game?
I mean, this is going to be an offensive explosion. I mean, really, I'm expecting this game to go all out. This is the type of game to where I have to go ahead and tip my cap to the home team. This is that type of game. Even though I see the Cowboys kind of doing their thing and moving the football, defensively they're a mess. So is the Detroit Lions. Detroit Lions can't stop a nosebleed. Detroit Lions. So this was so difficult when I'm looking at everything here.
Yeah, Moneyline said -3.
Yeah,
So
this is a tight game here. On tight games like this, if they're playing in Dallas, 100% I'll pick the Cowboys. If they're playing in Detroit, so I got to tip my cap to the Lions.
Lions win at home. Sunday kicks off, Johnny Cinco, the Battle of the Birds, Seahawks and Falcons. Falcons are the home team. Last week, the Falcons kind of laid an egg there. They're a better team on paper, but they're not playing up to their potential. Seahawks, of course, at 9-3. Who's winning this game?
Yeah, Falcons are 2-3 at home. They're playing at home. So this is where the home field advantage doesn't necessarily work out. The Seahawks are 5-1 on the road.
Right.
So one team plays better away, one team plays worse at home. Seattle's a much better team than Atlanta. This is a no-brainer. Seattle wins this game.
Seahawks win. Let's talk about the Bengals and the Bills. Johnny Cinco, 4-8 versus 8-4. One thing I want to note that Joe Burrow, I really appreciate what he said. Why are you coming back? Your team's only won 3 games. Why are you coming back? Well, because people pay a lot of money to watch us play a kid's game. I admire that about Burrow. Now they sit at 4-8. The Bills, of course, are at home. Who's winning this matchup?
I mean, what? They're 5-1 at home. It's 5-1 at home. The Bills, they're Jekyll and Hyde. Some weeks they're looking like the Super Bowl winning team. Other weeks they're just looking a complete mess. So yeah, they're looking like that coffin. So it's just but I do see some uptick with the Bengals. They look so much better with Burrow, and I've seen Cincinnati and Burrow win in Buffalo. It's just I can't see them winning that. And Buffalo's coming off a not so great week. I can't see them having back-to-back bad weeks. Buffalo wins this game.
Buffalo wins at home. Let's talk about the Browns and Titans. Johnny Cinco, we know the Titans sit at 1-11. Now they're on the road, where the Browns, Florida Man Football called it right. Shadir Sanders kind of stumbled a little bit, lost last week. Is this a bounce back for the Browns? Who wins this matchup?
I mean, he didn't have any turnovers. He did what he could. There was some other in him. He had a rookie game, but it wasn't one of those rookie games that he didn't give his team a chance. They're going against with the Niners.
I think you're bringing up a really good point, right? So Titans and Browns, this is the battle of the rookies here. So who's winning this matchup?
This is a terrible team versus a bad team. The Browns still have a stellar defense. Browns have an outstanding defense. As long as Shadir Sanders doesn't turn the ball over, which I don't expect him to do it, this defense should go ahead and win this game. Low-scoring game. I don't expect anything crazy, but the Browns are winning this game.
Browns winning at home. Commanders, Vikings, Johnny Cinco. We already got here basically I want to call this the toilet bowl, in the sense that you got two teams that the season is not going like they expected, right? With injuries and whatnot. Vikings are at home. Moneyline says -1.5 Minnesota, which tells you what a close game this disaster is going to be.
And
who's winning this game?
Do you have McCarthy is going to play this game?
I don't believe he is, as of right now. As of right now, that could change. But,
that rookie, that's one of the worst games I've ever seen from somebody. No points, but Minnesota got shut out. They looked embarrassingly bad. Jefferson didn't even talk to the reporters after the game. It was so bad. And the Commanders, listen, they should have beat the Broncos. They were right there. They had them at the ropes. Mariota looked pretty good. So he's a solid backup. This is just two bad teams going at it, but one team is a little bit better than the other. If J.J. McCarthy was playing, I would pick the Vikings, but he is not. So that I have zero confidence. I don't even know his name. You don't need to know his name. He's so bad. This kid is not going to last in this league after that horrible performance he gave. So the Commanders are going to win this game.
First upset of the week, Florida Man Football here. Commanders winning on the road. Let's talk about the Dolphins and the Jets. Johnny Cinco, the question is very simple here. The Jets are traveling on the road. Does the winning streak continue? Moneyline says Miami -2.5.
Yes. I mean, the Jets are terrible. They're going to continue to be terrible. They need a complete overhaul in Jersey over there. They've always needed an overhaul. This is a trend in the Jersey franchises with the Jets and the Giants. Terrible owners who make terrible decisions. So, no, the Jets are losing this game. The Dolphins are going to continue that streak and give their fans some hope.
The Dolphins continue the win streak, Florida Man Football picks. And as far as Justin Fields, just one quick little take here, because I know we've had almost 3 seasons now of Florida Man Football. I've been very critical of people on the hate on Justin Fields, especially when Caleb Williams was picked, and the whole combine differences, and then the fact that Pittsburgh gave him a bad rap. They let him start all those games, remember? And then they ended up benching him, and he just needed an opportunity to get that opportunity to show out. And kudos to the Jets for giving him that opportunity.
Okay.
Yeah, and totally screwing him. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Put a fork in Justin Fields. And Justin Fields, I know you're an avid watcher of Florida Man Football. I gave you every opportunity that I could. I don't know what to tell you anymore, man. And if it's the offensive coach that was calling all these things, then shame on the head coach. He'll be gone after next year. But yeah, Justin Fields done. Put a fork in him.
Things you had the opportunity to go to a couple of different spots. I understand for the competitor in you. You're like, the Jets are going to get me to start. There were other teams that were offering you contracts that gave you the opportunity. You had to earn it.
Right.
You kind of battle for it. The Jets were the team that was like, yes, ours. You needed to stop and think for a second. Like, the Jets. Namath, the guy from the 60s, is the all-time leading passer for this franchise. So in the 60s, where nobody threw the ball, this guy's leading that franchise. Nobody wins there. You thought you were going to transform it. You should have looked at the situation. Shoot, you could have stayed in Pittsburgh and still battled it out and be like, all right, because you didn't like the fact that they didn't just give it to you. You didn't play well enough for them to give it to you. So, yes, Chris, glad you finally, something I've been saying for years, that Justin Fields is not good. He has a lot of skills, but he lacks that poise. He lacks that accuracy. When you have a quarterback that tends to want to go ahead and run first, it's always a problem.
Once every 100 years, I'm allowed to be wrong. Let's talk about these Saints and Buccaneers. Johnny Cinco, the Buccaneers are at home. This is one of the game of the weeks for me. I'm supposed to be at this game, so if I see you out there, say hello. 50-50 though now, because something happened that I may not be able to go, but I'm going to do my best. Bucks are at home, -8.5. Who's winning this game?
I don't like the 8.5 points, honestly. The Bucks and Saints always play tight games. I understand that the Saints are terrible, but it doesn't matter how terrible or good they are. They're always playing tight. Even when they were in the Super Bowl, heyday, the Saints, the Bucs were kind of on the downturn. They still battled, and even the other way around, it doesn't matter. They always battle. It's always tight. The Bucs are going to win this game. They are not winning by 8 points. This is going to be a tight game. It is. The Buccaneers cannot afford to lose this game.
Right.
They cannot. They have the same amount of wins as Carolina. Carolina has one more loss, but they can't afford to. Carolina's on a roll. Carolina, the Buccaneers, former coordinators, for Carolina and for Jacksonville, they're on a roll.
Yeah.
And Bucs are winning this game.
Well, kudos to Coach Bull for straightening the ship here. Hopefully, this will be back-to-back wins. And you're 100% right. I don't care the fact that it's 2-10 and the Saints are playing for draft picks. I don't care. The reality is they would love to do nothing more than play spoiler here and give them a loss so that the Bucs don't have a chance to win another NFC South title. So, Bucs win. Colts, Jaguars, Johnny Cinco, the divisional games continue. 8-4 versus 8-4. The Colts have kind of fizzled out a little bit. And then Cohen is saying that we're the real deal. Who wins? Jaguars are at home.
This is the biggest game of the year so far for Jacksonville. And listen, I would love to sit here and tell you that Duval will be like, yes, we're going to rise up to the occasion and do it. Every single time we put Jacksonville on the pedestal and we say, okay, now's the time to show me something, they failed us. Okay, great. You won against mediocre teams.
Right.
The one team that you did beat that was like, damn, okay, was the Chiefs. But the Chiefs aren't the Chiefs that we thought they were.
Right.
Earlier in the season,
good point.
Good point. Not. So let's just calm down for a second. This isn't hating on Jacksonville. It's not. No. You guys are really, obviously, giving your fans some hope. They've shown some bright lights. For Jacksonville to win this game, Trevor Lawrence needs to give me what I've been asking for, Chris, for the longest. Give me a 400-yard passing game, 3 touchdowns. No, give me that.
Play some exceptional football,
that we've seen from our Florida court, from Baker Mayfield, from Tua. Show me an exceptional, a $250 million contract game. Show me a number 1 overall pick type game. And I have yet to see it from Trevor Lawrence, and he needs to have it here. I don't see him having it. I see that both teams are right there. Colts are winning this game.
Colts win. Johnny Cinco, the last game at 1 o'clock here, Florida Man football on Sunday, it's the Steelers and the Ravens. And it's crazy because at 6-6, both teams, this is kind of like a game of the week, if you will, because the playoff implications are already here, folks. But I just feel like it's going to be a very messy game for whatever reason. It's not going to be a very high-scoring game necessarily. Ravens are at home. It says Baltimore -6. Who's winning this matchup?
Nobody wants to win this division. I mean, you can say what you want in terms of, like you mentioned, Burrow. Like, why are you out? Your games, yeah, they're having a horrible season. They're 2 games out of that divisional championship right now. Because right now, Steelers and Ravens 6-6. That's leading the division.
Right.
So at 4 wins there with the Bengals, they still have a shot here. This game was a tough game to call.
You got two great coaches, right? I mean, it's tough. One of them is going to have a losing record after this.
It is interesting looking at both the teams. Lamar Jackson, of course, is back to a much better team. They're playing in Baltimore. Looking at this is really tough to go ahead and look at it and think that Tomlin is going to go ahead and lose and go under 500, especially after his speech he gave after. His speech, a couple words that really solidified what people were dogging his team. He goes, just watch what we're going to do. And I believe Mike Tomlin, I believe this defense is going to go and figure things out. And Pittsburgh Steelers are going to win against Baltimore in Baltimore.
That's another upset here, Florida Man football. Let's go. Johnny Cinco, moving to the 4 o'clock games. You've got 2 teams on the other side of the spectrum, 10-2 versus 2-10. That's the Broncos and the Raiders. Raiders saving graces that they're at home, if that even exists at this point. Who wins?
Broncos.
I love it. Broncos win on the road. Bears and Packers, Johnny Cinco, back to some meaningful football here. The 9-3 Bears. 9-3 Bears traveling to the Packers at 8-3-1. Moneyline says Green Bay -6.5. Who wins this one?
I mean, there's a lot of good games this week. Jesus, a lot of good games. A lot of divisional games, a lot of tight games. Things happen here. This is another one. The Packers are a good team. They really are a good team. But they'll play some weeks where they just, I don't know what's going on. Jordan Love forgets how to play football. The defense falls flat. And the Bears, who are a bit of a mess, Caleb Williams a bit of a mess, looking at certain things. It doesn't necessarily mean that for me that automatically they're winning because it's in Green Bay. Green Bay's 4-2 at home. The Bears are 5-2 on the road. So
that's crazy.
Looking at this here, the Packers should win this game. They should win. They're a better team. But I'm so scared of the Bears and what they've been doing, especially in the fourth quarter, and coming back and pulling away in a victory. They had a great victory against Philadelphia. Can they do it 2 weeks in a row against a team they should lose to? I don't think so. The Packers should get their things together here, and the Packers are going to win against the Bears.
Just like the season the Packers have had, I feel like they've kind of had like this season, right? You just did that with the pick. I love that. Packers win at home. Let's go back to those spectrums. Johnny Cinco, the Rams are traveling. The 9-3 Rams are traveling against the Cardinals at 3-9. We saw what they did last week against the Bucks. Money line says -7.5. The Rams. Who wins this game?
Even though the Rams went ahead and lost to Carolina, something that nobody saw coming. And props to Bryce Young, bro. If you saw that game, that dude looked like Brady Montana. He was, listen, they kept scoring and he kept bringing them back. He was throwing some dots. He had a great game. So it's interesting with Bryce Young what he can do, but I don't see the Rams losing 2 weeks in a row to bad teams. And not that Carolina's bad, but they're not good. They're not an elite team. So, they're not going to go ahead and lose to the Cardinals. The Rams are going to win this game.
Money line says -7.5. Is this going to be a palate cleanser type of game, or?
They're going to take out all the aggression on Carolina. This is not going to be a close game. It's going to be a complete blowout.
Rams win. Let's talk about the Texans and the Chiefs. Johnny Cinco, the Chiefs, as we mentioned earlier, they're kind of in a bit of a downfall. They're at 6-6. They're a 500 team, folks. And the Texans 7-5. They are traveling though at Chiefs Kingdom. Who's winning this game?
I mean, the Chiefs are 5-1 at home. Guys. They're 5-1 at home for a reason. Because they get some home cooking a little bit there, and I expect that home cooking even more so since they're looking at them 6-6. The NFL wants you to believe that this team somehow is not going to make the playoffs. No, they're going to let them have days. Chiefs are winning this game. They're not going to lose to the Texans, even though the Texans are a little bit hot. Not at home. This game was in Houston. Maybe we'll have a different story, but I have the Chiefs win this game.
Chiefs win. And Johnny Cinco, Florida Man Football, streaming on all major platforms as we wrap up our Week 14 picks. Let's mention the bye week. We've got the Patriots, the Giants, the Niners, and the Panthers. Thank God the Panthers are on bye week. All on bye week. We've got the Eagles and the Chargers wrapping it up. Monday Night Football. Chargers are at home. Again, you said it earlier, right? A lot of great football. Both teams are 8-4. Who's winning this matchup?
8-4 game, and you're looking at the Chargers, who we've said if they've lost this game, they're so close for us to go ahead and it's be like, we're writing you off, LA. We're writing
right,
you
and
off.
they win, and then the Eagles lose. Yeah,
still there.
Yep.
And the Eagles, who for many weeks you were saying they were the best team in football, they were right there, defending champions.
Yep.
There's drama there that the A.J. Brown scenario, all these things. I think the Eagles are fools for not trading him when they should have. You don't need him to win. You're spending a lot of money on this guy. He's not finishing routes. There's a lot of problems there. The Chargers are playing at home, and I can really see Harbaugh just taking advantage of a frustrated Eagles team here. So I understand. I think an upset here. I've called a few upsets. I think it's going to continue here.
Oh, wow.
The Chargers are going to win this game against Philly. I think Philly, remember the year before, they went on a collapse. They won the Super Bowl. Remember, they lost what? Something stupid. They lost I can't remember, 6 or 7 in a row or something ridiculous. They went 10-0 or 10-1, 10-0, and then they lost almost every game going into the playoffs. That's when they lost to the Bucks in the playoffs there. And this is a similar thing. This reminds me a lot of McNabb and T.O. That whole drama. Not the year they went to the Super Bowl, the year they didn't. I think this is going to carry over. I think we're seeing the beginning of the Eagles falling off. That's going to be an issue with A.J. Brown, I think, and they'll beat some bad teams, but they end up losing to teams that we don't expect them to lose to. I mean, they went ahead and lost last week, and nobody expected them to lose to the Bears, and they did, and nobody expects them to lose to the Chargers, who I think are a better team defensively, a better coach team. I think Herbert has a great game. Chargers win.
So important, especially in 4 weeks of football left. I feel like at this point, when you're playing for position, a lot of these games have playoff implications, right? That's a no-brainer. And so for you to tell me that, consensus, because we're on the same page, that the Chargers are winning, that says more about the Eagles than it does the Chargers, because Eagles are returning Super Bowl champs. So they're still making the playoffs, right? There's no argument there. Or do you think that they may be in the bubble?
I think they're going to be in the bubble. I think that if the Cowboys somehow, I call the Cowboys to lose this week, but if they somehow win it, if the Cowboys going to run it, and I'm looking at the Cowboys game, they can go on a run. The Eagles have to give me the opposite feeling. So I'm not automatically saying, hey, the Philadelphia Eagles are going to go ahead and make it, because I think they're going to have to win their division to make the playoffs. I mean, there's a few extra wild card, we'll see, but there's a lot of talent in the NFC. So if they don't win that division, if the Cowboys somehow come up and take it, there's no guarantee the Philadelphia Eagles are going to make the playoffs. This is a problem, with Philly, and I get it. This is a bunch of whiny fans. When they're 8-4, they're complaining. The players are complaining. You won the Super Bowl. You're one of the top paid players in your position, and you're still complaining and whining and not finishing routes. That's gonna, bro. That cancer, that poisonous, that spreads in a team, and it causes disruptions. It causes problems, and I think we're seeing the fruit of that.
Yeah, absolutely. Johnny Cinco, before you wrap up the show here at Florida Man Football, we want to thank everybody for riding with us once again during these weeks where we had these technical difficulties. But before we wrap up, Johnny Cinco, let me ask a little fantasy football here. Let's call it what it is. Let's let the fans know what's going on. So Johnny Cinco about 5 weeks ago was eliminated from the playoffs, and I was just recently, like an hour ago, eliminated from the playoffs. And that's the way it happened in my head. And at any rate, we're both now eliminated from the playoffs with a week left. And I pulled the archives, Johnny Cinco. I have never, ever not made the playoffs. In fact, this is the first time in my professional corporate career that I missed the playoffs in fantasy football. Before I go into my little rant, before we wrap up here, any last words on fantasy football this season for Johnny Cinco?
My job is to mess up everything possible for everyone else. I already did that last week. I was making sure, because misery loves company. I need to ensure that, okay, let's go ahead and ensure. I didn't need to do it because in the day it still worked out. But no, this week I have the chance to spoil somebody else's attempt to get in the playoffs and mess things up. And I will do that. I have some key players on bye weeks, of course. I didn't have any issues until this week, but I think I like what I see here. So if you have the opportunity, guys, if you're out of it, don't be that guy that's like, I'm not going to do anything. I'm not even going to bother to make any line. I'm out of the playoffs. No, mess it up for somebody else. Bring you joy. Have somebody else angry with you and pissed off at you because, like I said before, Chris, misery loves company.
Well, for me, it's very rare not looking at my lineup and thinking, dang, how am I going to find a way to win this week and competitively? Because I'm still going to try to find a way to win. But I mean, let's face it, we're no longer in the playoff race. And so I had to go back. I had a very long car ride home today and just pondering, right? Where did I go wrong? Where did my season go wrong? And then I figured out something, though, Johnny.
I know where mine went wrong.
Well, I know where ours went wrong. This isn't our fault. No, it's not our fault. No.
Like where you going with this?
No, it's not.
Okay.
No, roll with me. It's the NFL's fault, and I'm going to tell you why. You rig games, right? You rig games, therefore the players have the effects, right? Yes. We have amazing drafts. We know what it is. We've been watching football for 25 plus years of our lives, probably more than that. And we know what to expect. Again, never missed a playoff. And it so happens that the corruption and the gambling and all these scandals that are coming out, and then coincidentally, Christian and Johnny are out of the playoffs. You're the problem, NFL, not me.
Yep.
So get your stuff together. I almost said a bad word. Get your stuff together for next season, because next season I'm coming back with a vengeance. The fact that you're out of the playoffs, Sandy's out of the playoffs, I'm out of the playoffs, and people like Ashby are in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
And listen,
that's what I got to say about that.
For me, I know you mentioned it, but I am so disappointed. I'll get into a whole rant at the end of the season in terms of just the shenanigans that went down at the NFL this year, bro, and all the things that are like,
oh yeah,
obvious. Like, how is this allowed? How is this going? And it's really hurting the integrity of the game. On the fantasy side, yes, that's correct. My first 2 draft picks completely let me down. And I look back, my first 2. Doesn't matter who it is. Chris knows who they are. They just let me down. There are different key factors as to why that let me down. But that's for me when I analyze everything. And bad luck. You score many times. Those about 4 or 5 wins to where I was top 3 in scoring and lose. That's just
don't start that. Don't start that.
And that happens.
Don't start that. Get tissue going.
No, that happens there. And I'm gonna hold back the tears. I'm gonna try my best here, but hopefully you guys are doing better than we did this year in fantasy football. Any misses, anything you can think of? I know the big miss for me, Chris, or I missed this year where I said James Cook, that was an outlier, one-off. he's not going to have the same type of year. I mean, a great fantasy year. He's doing great things. CMC, he's no legs. He's not doing it there. So listen, we're going to keep it on. We're keeping 100.
Yeah.
Keeping it a buck.
No, the biggest miss for me, we're going to talk about misses. I thought I was going to end with just blaming the NFL, but since you're pushing me here, my biggest miss was I highlighted this year for once all my people on my draft board and all that, and I had like a Minjab. I'm going to butcher his name, the wide receiver for Seattle.
Yeah.
I had him high on my board, but I had Metcalf higher,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
and because I had Metcalf higher, I missed out on both. And that, to me, right now, hindsight 2020, I should have gone with Minjab, however you pronounce his name. Then my draft would have been a little bit better, a little bit tighter. But that was, to me, probably one of my biggest falls because, again, I had him highlighted as somebody that I wanted, but I couldn't logically in my head be like, no, McCaff has to go first. And then I missed out on both.
Yeah, I think it didn't help us. So we both had terrible draft positions. So then
Right.
that draft position kind of took away from our strategy. We had to kind of adapt and make
Yeah.
some adjustments, and everything was a bit of a mess. But
But
still,
make no mistake, it's the NFL's fault.
it is the NFL's fault. And Lorenzo, the commissioner, who clearly set the
Trash.
thing up here
Trash.
for us to go ahead and fall into where we fell. This is a ridiculous joke.
And congratulations, by the way, Commish. You're gonna have if your fantasy football playoffs were like the NFL ratings, you guys are gonna suck now because this was the entertainment.
Yeah,
You
so
suck.
good luck. It's gonna stink for everybody here. I'm pretty upset about it, but it's done. It's over with. The fantasy football is still fun and upsetting at the same time. But
Ruin everybody.
it is annoying. It's like, but so do your job if you're in the same position we are, and ruin it for somebody else here. Before we go, Chris, any takeaways, any final things for the end of the season? I mean, not the end of the season, the end of, any. We've talked about Florida, teams here. Anything else that stands out to you this week?
No, I just think for the next coming episodes, as the seasons get a little bit tighter, I think we need to talk a little bit more about what the playoff push is going to look like here. But we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
I'm gonna end it with the same thing I've been talking about the last 5 weeks. And
I knew you were
ended
going to do
last
that. I
time,
knew you were going to do
And
that.
Chris wants to sit here and still see. I call it like I see them. I don't really have a dog in a fight. I have teams that I root for, but I can look at teams and be like, hey, yep, yes, no, yes. Just make some real, some picks, some thoughts. It doesn't really matter. I don't want my fanhood get in the way, unlike other people here. So last week we talked about Chris,
Okay.
if the Rams finally lose, because I've been talking about the New England Patriots being the best team in the NFL, and of course you have haters like Chris and Cam Newton who want to sit here and be like, no, they're not playing good teams. They're playing NFL teams. The Rams just lost to the Carolina Panthers.
A good team. A team playing for a playoff spot, yeah.
Anyway, they're
Right.
They're not, and they were a 13-point underdog, which is insane in the NFL.
No.
So don't sit here and talk to me about how they're such a good team because they're not. They're pushing for a playoff, but they're not. Give me a break. They're not that good of a team. They're up and coming. They're better than they are last year, which we called.
Mm-hmm.
They lose. The Broncos barely beat the Commanders, and the Patriots look just dominant. Just foot on neck, just holding it down there.
And he says he doesn't talk like a fan. Look at this just gushing out of his pores. Listen. I'm tired. Just ask the question. Ask the question.
New England Patriots, as of right now, after this past week, are the best team in football.
If you think that I'm going to pick the Patriots winning against a team with an interim coach, with a quarterback that just came back from a concussion, with a team that their draft pick, by the way, Carter, if you see what happens, got benched again because they're having issues. If you think that I'm going to all of a sudden crown the Patriots number one because of that, you're out of your flipping mind. And then for you to sit here and go, oh, are you going to be in denial? Oh, because it's the Patriots, you're being salty. No, the bottom line is this. The power rankings have changed, and your boy here, because it always changes, the Denver Broncos right now are the best team in football. And the reason that they are is to what Johnny's point was supposed to mean, which is this. They're winning close games. I think they've won the most close games out of any team with their record right now. And so it doesn't matter that it's ugly or not ugly. You win. You play to win the game, and the Denver Broncos have found a way to do that.
So Chris's logic is the Patriots are beating them by too much. They won 10 games in a row.
Sorry team. A sorry team.
They won 10
sorry
games
team.
in a row, and they're not close games. If they were close games, maybe they'll be better. But since Denver also does not have a difficult schedule, they haven't played anybody really.
I'm glad you brought that up. The Denver Broncos have the 8th hardest schedule. Okay. The Patriots 23rd.
Okay.
Okay. Bye, Felicia.
Okay. So you can say what you
I
want,
just totally made
Chris.
that stat up. I have no idea if
Yeah,
it's
I
true
know.
or
I
not.
know. First of all, I knew that was completely made up. I'm like that. That's
I
not.
have no idea if
The
it's true or not.
Broncos. Listen,
But they do have a stronger
I
schedule.
don't. I don't.
They do have a stronger
I don't.
schedule.
Yeah, but by me, like one or two. But I don't fault a team for beating the teams that are in front of them. And people like critics like you, they want to sit here and fault them. Be like, oh nope, that team's too easy. And then
It's true.
but you just sit here and say that the
It's true.
reason both have, if you want to look at it, relatively easy schedules. One is dominating those games. The other is barely winning.
One of them is
Somehow,
proven, one of them is not. Broncos. Done. Slice it however you want. Broncos became a playoff team last year under Sean Payton, and they brought it back this year, and they proved that it's true. Patriots are a one-hit wonder right now. Can they do it again?
It's okay. The New England Patriots are used to having a bunch of haters on them that don't really use any logic. They just want to sit here and they want to see a great franchise.
You have my permission to use this commentary against Patriot fans like this guy.
It's quite all right. Let's just hope that our Florida teams can have the same level of success. They can go ahead and push through, and hopefully the Dolphins, the Bucks, and the Jags continue to go ahead and win, and somehow all teams make their way into the playoffs.
Let's go.
Thanks, guys, for listening and for watching. Remind you, we are available everywhere. Of course, YouTube, on X. We should be available on Apple Podcasts. A couple of things here this upcoming week. Hope you enjoyed it. Hopefully you enjoyed that we're back in the studio. We'll be back next week for more commentary. I think Chris is wearing a dress.
Double-digit wins. Let's go.
Later.